Hello, welcome back again. This video is in response to all of the comments I've been getting on my video about my online dating disasters. So that video has actually received 21,000 views. And so I am just completely blown away by that. I never expected that, especially since most of my videos have only been getting in the lower hundreds. So that one really took off, and there was almost 900 comments. So what I have found, I've tried to respond to all of the comments as best as I can, and I'm sure I've probably missed a few because 900 comments is a lot of comments. So anyway, there is a theme though that I have noticed in those comments of some of the questions that are getting asked again and again. And then also to just some general comments that I found kind of amusing or whatever. So I just thought I would address those now so that I don't have to keep typing the same responses over and over and over again. So anyway, so we'll just get started here. My name is Barb. This is My Intentional Retired Life. The first thing I need to say right off the bat is that those online dates that I talked about in that video actually happened when I was 50. I'm now 66, almost 67. So it's been 16 years since I had those dates. So I was not old at that point. I was actually pretty young. And so I thought that that would probably be a good thing to mention. I did mention in the video that it was several years ago. I didn't mention exactly how old I was at the time. So I was 50 at the time. So the first common question that I've been getting, or one of the first ones, is why didn't you insist on being picked up or meet halfway instead of driving all that distance to meet these gentlemen? In response to that, I was absolutely new to the online dating scene at that time. I had never tried online dating before then. I was 50. I was quite vulnerable. I did have some baggage. And I just thought that perhaps I could, meet somebody online and that it would go well for me. Obviously, that didn't happen. But anyway, so I was very new to the dating scene. I really honestly did not know what the protocol was. I didn't realize that, I should probably be a little bit more forceful, but I did definitely, meet some of them at the closest place I could that was populated at the time. And then in some cases, they expected me to go even further, and I did. And why I did that, young and stupid, whatever the excuse might be, I was just not the same person as I am now. It wouldn't happen today. But back then, like I said, I was younger, I was vulnerable, and I was absolutely brand new to online dating. Now, also, why didn't I stop the date that ordered fish for me and just tell him I don't like fish? And I'll order for myself, thank you very much. And there again, I guess it's because I was new to online dating. I didn't know what was expected. He was paying. I was kind of taken aback and actually kind of shocked at the time. And so I just didn't say anything. I was a different person back then. I was a little bit more, shy, a little bit more, not as forthright as I am today. And as we grow old, we learn lessons, or we should be learning lessons from our mistakes. And so there was that kind of inability for me to speak up for myself at the time. I had also been in an abusive marriage for 23 years. I was married to a man who was emotionally abusive to me and financially abusive. And so I was kind of used to being a doormat, to be honest, and didn't really feel at the time like I could speak up and say something if this gentleman was paying for my meal. And now, had I been allergic to fish or something, deathly allergic, I would have said something. Didn't want to die. So anyway, I would have said something if that was the case. But at the time, I just thought, okay, well, whatever. And of course, I didn't ever go on another date with him. Now, again, why didn't I get up and go to the bathroom and just say I need to use the ladies' room and then leave when I was having these dates that had gone south and were so bad? Well, there again, I was new to it all, and I am Canadian. And I know that's going to sound kind of strange, but as Canadians, we have typically been seen as, and rightly so, as being a little naive and very, very pleasant. We say, I'm sorry a lot. Even when we don't need to say I'm sorry, we still say I'm sorry. And we tend to be very pleasant people. We were peacekeepers in countless wars. Being a Canadian means that you're just a nice person. These men were not leering at me or making comments that were really inappropriate or anything like that. So it wasn't like I felt threatened in any way by them. It was just not a good date. And I thought it would be cruel if I just got up and left. In fact, I don't even think it actually even occurred to me, to be honest, that to do something like that. I just thought, well, I'll grin and bear it until it's over and call it a day. And I just won't go back out with that person again if they ask me. So that's kind of how I have to answer that question. I don't know. Like, hindsight is 2020, but I still, to this day, I don't think I would probably get up and leave and not say anything to the person and just duck out. That's just actually not my personality to do that. Okay, so some of the comments that I got, and over again, these are typical comments that in 900 comments that I kept getting. And being the person that I am, I like to try to reply to the comments. But when you start having to say the same thing over and over again, it gets to the point where you go, okay, I think I need to just address this once, and then I can just point people for the answers to the video if it keeps on coming up all the time. So one of the comments that I got a lot was that being called a librarian is not necessarily a criticism, but could have actually been a compliment. Now that could very well be. I guess at the time, I thought that it was not a compliment because I needed to hear something else. Maybe I needed to hear I was pretty, or that I looked interesting, or that I looked smart. And being told I looked like a librarian, I didn't know how to take it. I guess I just didn't know how to take it at the time. Maybe now I wouldn't feel as strongly about it. But at the time I was 50 and I had lost a bunch of weight, and I thought that I looked really pretty, and I wanted to be told that. I didn't want to be told that I looked like a librarian. So I don't know, but I will take it as a compliment here on in. If somebody says I look like a librarian, I will say, well, thank you. Okay, also, I was told that I should never have a meal on the first date, that you should always insist on just having a coffee date. And I think I would agree with that, actually. Probably shouldn't have gone for a meal. It makes you feel obligated to stay. You know, it's kind of uncomfortable. What if they're expecting more? It's probably just not a good idea. So I do agree with that, definitely. I would just stick with coffee at the very beginning if I was going to try dating again. So I was also told I was a lunatic, which I thought was pretty funny. And one person actually said the reason why I was a lunatic was because I had a Christmas decoration that was in the shape of a high heel shoe. I don't know, people, but that's what constituted me being a lunatic. I'm a woman who lives alone. I like shoes. And it was a cute decoration that I bought at the time. And I still love that decoration. And I will continue to put my Christmas shoe up every Christmas because I like it. Does not make me a lunatic, okay? Oh, man. Also, I was told, of course, that I'm too old to date. First of all, I'm not dead, okay? And as long as we are above ground, we can date if we want. Also, at the time, I was 50. I am now almost 67. So I don't think of 50 as being old. 50 is a new 40 or whatever. So at the time, no, I was not too old to date. And actually, to tell you the truth, I'm still not too old to date. So there you go. Also, I was told I was too picky. Now, I guess I'm picky because I want someone to be clean and to have teeth. Now, I'm in no way, shape, or form saying that somebody that does not have the money to have their teeth fixed, that there's something wrong with them or that they're defective. I don't want that to ever be misconstrued at all, because that's not what I was saying, okay? What I was saying was that this person had misrepresented themselves. In their photo, they had teeth. When they showed up at the date, they did not have teeth. Now, did they think I was not going to notice that? And a clean mouth is important to me. Oral hygiene is important to me. And if that makes me too picky, sorry. I want them to be clean. Is that asking too much? I don't care if they wear jeans and a t-shirt, even running shoes. But to be clean. Clean t-shirt, clean jeans, clean runners. I don't think that's being picky. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but as I said in my video, everything else is up for grabs. I don't care if you're tall, short, fat, slim, if you have hair, if you don't have hair, and if you have teeth that are crooked, I don't care. Just be clean. And, you know, have a clean mouth. Would I want to kiss somebody's mouth if it wasn't clean? No. Not that I'm going to kiss them on the first date anyway, but just, you know, at some point, if it ever went further and I was going to be with that person at all, at some point there's going to have to be a kiss, right? So do I want that person to have a clean mouth? I think so. Honestly, some people, I just don't get it. But also what I would say is that any person who misrepresents themselves in a photo when they're going to go on a date, you've got to wonder, like, do they not think that we aren't going to notice? I don't understand that. Any photo that I put up on any of those sites that I was on, I always had it be an actual representation of what I looked like then. I would never, ever put up an old photo of myself. Why would I do that? It doesn't make sense. Because you're going to have to meet that person eventually, unless you're a scammer and you have no intention of ever meeting that person. So if you actually are going to lie about who you are in your photo compared to who you are today, then how can I trust you going forward? To me, it's a no-brainer. Put up a photo of yourself. If you are worried about your teeth and you don't want to have a big smile on your face in your photo, then I get that. But maybe be upfront about the fact that you need some teeth work done or something like that. Let me decide if I want to drive to meet you for your date or not. Also, in terms of the whole driving thing, people said, you should always get your date to pick you up. Not the first one, I won't. How do I know that guy isn't Ted Bundy? Right? Like, no, I'm going to meet them at a public place and I will drive myself. Should I have asked them to meet me halfway? Likely, but I was also living in a small town in rural Alberta that the nearest place was 35 minutes away. And in many cases, for some of the coffee dates I did have, that's exactly where we met. But some of them expected me to drive in because they had a certain restaurant that they wanted me to meet them in. So I don't know. There again, coulda, shoulda, woulda, whatever. Okay. Oh, yes, this was a good one. So I was told that if I wanted to attract a man, that I should get Botox, I should get fillers, I should have a facelift, I should dye my hair, and then that person said, at least you're not fat. Where do I even start with that? Where do I even start? First of all, I have no money for Botox, fillers, and a facelift, and I'm not going to go into debt to have those things done. B, I want to grow old being who I am, not some, there again, misrepresentation of who I actually am. At the time I was a 50-year-old woman. I didn't even have a face that needed to be lifted. Maybe I do now, but do I care? No. I'm almost 67. Like, I'm just going to grow old gracefully. Sorry. I wear makeup. I try to make my hair look presentable, what little I have left. But, come on. Give me a break. Like, why do you bother wasting my time and your time making a comment like that? It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. You want to do that to yourself? Go at her. You care so much about having men pay attention to you that you'll go to whatever lengths you have to get that attention. Have at her. It's not who I am, and it never will be who I am. So, also too, I thought this was really funny. I had one person say that my video was obviously very bad AI. Now, I don't think that person actually watched my video because I'm not AI. And if you watched my video, I think you would realize that I'm not an AI. But I think it was because my thumbnail, the picture in my thumbnail is definitely is not the most flattering picture for that video. And when I took the picture of me, it cut off half of my little pinky on each hand. It was out of frame. And so it's not the greatest picture, I admit that. But the video has still gotten 20,000 views, so do I care? No. But I absolutely tell you unequivocally that I am a real person. You don't believe me? Sorry, too bad, so sad. Oh, also, okay, so that was the AI. What was the other one? Oh, the person said, are you a man or a woman? I am very much a woman. Oh my goodness. There again, I guess that photo is really less than flattering. Not just the pinkies, but the face and everything. Oh my goodness. Do I wish that I could grow my hair long and it would look really nice and it would be thick and all of that stuff? Sure. It would be nice, but that's not who I am. And so there again, I'm not going to misrepresent myself, and I'm not going to buy a wig. I still do have hair, even if it's not as much of it as I used to have when I was young. And I don't even think I'd look good in long hair, to be honest, because my face is quite small, and I think it would just kind of overwhelm my face and drag it down. So anyway, I guess in the picture I look like I could be, man or woman, but I am very much a woman. And then the last question that I had, which was just a very general question, was where do I live and what kind of attractions are here for tourists or whatever. And I live in a small city in central Alberta, Canada. It is very cold here, so I wouldn't recommend coming here in the wintertime. If you want to ski, then certainly you could come in the spring. There's a lot of people that love to go to the mountains to ski in the spring. Where I am is prairie land. So there's a lot of different crops that are grown here. We have wheat, we have canola, we have flax. There's just a lot of different crops that they grow here. Of course, hay. And but it's fairly flat here. But if you go 3 hours south of where I live, approximately 3 hours south, you hit the Rocky Mountains. And Banff is a beautiful place, Lake Louise. If you go further south, almost to the U.S. border, there's Waterton National Park. Of course, there's Jasper National Park, which is more west of me. And so there's a lot to be seen here. We also have Drumheller, which is Badlands, and there is a dinosaur museum in Drumheller where they excavated a bunch of dinosaur bones. So there are quite a few different attractions here. In Edmonton, the large city close to where I live, is West Edmonton Mall, which at one point in time was the largest mall in the world, I think, back when it was built. It's huge, and don't lose your car when you park there, because that can actually happen to me anyway. But certainly there's a lot of good things. I live in a city that's approximately 20,000 people. There are all the amenities here except for Costco, basically. So we have the Walmart, we have the Superstore, we have a bunch of different stores, and a very eclectic, lovely main street, a lake that runs through our city, a lot of wildlife that just wanders through, like they own the place, like deer and rabbits and all sorts of different wildlife that like to kind of wander through our city. So there's a lot to be said for where I live. The winters can be very, very cold here, can get down to -30, even close to -40 at times. There's a lot of snow. And so that can be a little bit frustrating at times, but when you have been born and raised in Alberta, you get very hardy to the weather. And so we're used to it, and we layer up, and we just live through it, and we wait for spring, which comes kind of late in central Alberta, but it is what it is. And I still love my home, and I love the city where I live. I really love it here. I don't have any plans on leaving anytime soon. So Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I cleared up some of those questions today and gave you a laugh or two on some of the comments. So just please watch, subscribe. If you haven't seen the video that precedes this one about, well, it's a couple of videos back, about my online dating disasters. That's what this video is all about, is responding to those comments. So have a watch of that. And then also too, I've got some other videos as well that might be of interest to you. So thank you again for joining me today, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.